friends, welcome back to Boyle Family Farm. So it's been a minute and so much has changed since the last video I posted. A lot has happened in the cottage garden, a lot has happened with our animals, and my starts are doing a lot of growing. So it's time to uppot them because they are just getting too big for the space they're in. Starting them off in the milk jugs for winter sowing worked out beautifully. I have never had so many good starts ready to go for spring, and I'm so excited about it. Most of the ones that I have started are cold hardy plants. So I have some kale, I have some lettuce, I have some spinach, broccoli, I have a couple onions that even took off, and I am super excited about it. So we do have a few more colder nights coming up later in the week, so I don't want to plant them out in the yard, even though today it is beautiful, 70 degrees, and I don't think it's even going to get below 50 tonight. But knowing how Oregon is, and knowing that we do have a few colder nights coming up, I'm not going to put them out there yet. I'm just going to go ahead and uppot them. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I just found a ton of amazing windows for what's going to turn into my window greenhouse probably this fall. But while we were out in the shop putting stuff away and getting things organized, I found a whole bucket of seeds that I had moved over from the last house, and I didn't even know they were out there. And along with those seeds, I found some pots that I can use to move these starts into. So it kind of worked out perfectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill the pots with potting mix, and I'm going to fill them with potting mix, but I'm also going to add some compost to it from the compost pile we still had from last season. Just to give them that little bit extra, and it's been sitting there for a whole nother 6 months now, so it should be super good nutrients for them. But I'm going to mix some of the potting mix I have with some of the compost to get a little bit more out of it, because I only have about half a bag left of potting mix, and I don't want to invest in that right now because these plants aren't going to be in here for too long. I know once I start starting more vegetables, I will probably need to get some more potting mix and seed starting mix for things like tomatoes and peppers and that kind of stuff. But for right now, for tonight, I'm not going to run out just for a bag of potting mix. So I'm going to mix it up to get a little bit more out of it. Now, if you have seen my last videos or follow me on Instagram, you know that I did start some tomatoes, and I think it was a little bit too early because I did have to bring them out of the house because I don't have any grow lights, and they were getting pretty leggy from just trying to reach for the sun inside. So I brought them out to the greenhouse, and my plan was to take them back inside at night because it still gets cold, and I forgot, and of course they died. It wasn't a very large amount of seeds that I had started, so I'm not too worried about it, but I do need to restart some tomatoes and some peppers, which is on my list probably for next week, so I can time it a little bit better of when I can bring them out here and when it won't get too cold. I kind of did the same thing with some of my flowers. I brought them out here thinking that they would be ready. They weren't ready, and it's too cold for them. My sweet peas look great. They do look a little leggy because I brought them out here a little bit too late, but they're growing, and I am just going to go ahead and uppot them because they look good. So, lesson learned, don't start tomatoes too early, don't bring them outside too early, and be patient. But knowing me, I'll probably end up forgetting next year again because it's what I do every year. It's this time where I get super excited to start gardening again, start planting, and it's hard not to. So, oh well. But today, we're just going to work on uppotting some of the other vegetables that are getting really nice and big. We'll hold them over for another probably 2-3 weeks or so, and then we'll put them out in the garden. Now, the exciting thing about my cottage garden is that I've gone back and forth a lot on this, but I did decide to go ahead and continue doing no dig gardening. So that means I'm going to use all of the cardboard that we have left to add new beds. We're going to order a a new load of compost gardening soil mix, and that should help me, or that should get me to at least, hopefully, all the beds that I want for this year. I have a layout of what I think I want my cottage garden to look like, and I'll put it here for you to see. But basically, I have some areas for vegetables, I have some areas for flowers, some for berries, and then also a few patches for squash and pumpkins, because those do take up a little bit more room, and I wanted to make sure not to crowd anything that I have this year, because I have so much space that I don't need to crowd anything. But basically, if you look at my diagram that I do have some empty spaces, and these I'm gonna leave empty for right now, at least for the season, maybe even for the rest of the year until next spring, just so I can have a full year in what I have available as far as garden beds in the cottage garden, and see what I can do with that, and then decide if I'm ready to add more space. Because while I do want to grow as much as I can for our family, hopefully eventually do market gardening, for right now, I don't want to, one, overwhelm myself, because I only have so much time in the day and I only have so much resources to use, and two, I don't want to end up making the cottage garden feel too markety. I want it to be a cottage garden. I want it to be a true potager garden where it's peaceful, it's calm, it's busy, but a good busy. So I'm gonna leave those spaces open for right now and see what God has planned for me next year in those spaces. All right, so having said all of that, let's go ahead and pot some of the vegetables I have right now, and we'll get those ready to go out to the garden in just a few more weeks. friends. The sun is just about down. I am sufficiently dirty. Some of my vegetables are up potted, some of them look better than others, but I'm really hoping by getting them out of the container and into bigger space, more area, more root space, they will thrive. So I'll keep an eye on them because I am going to leave them out in the greenhouse. Still chilly overnight, but with these particular vegetables, I feel okay about leaving them out. So come in, check on them tomorrow morning. I'll probably water them again because it does get pretty warm here in the greenhouse, and without the container, without the condensation coming back down into the soil for them, they are going to need to be watered regularly. So that just means I'll have to make it out here into the greenhouse more often. But thank you for joining me today. I needed a day like today. I needed a spring gardening, just vegetable cottage garden preparation kind of day, and I am super thankful that you got to spend it with me. Alright guys, there's just a little sliver of sun left out in the sky. I'm going to take you out to see that, and then we'll call it a night. Alright, you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you on the farm next time. Bye friends.